What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking on a more serious note. We're going to be talking about taking chances and making excuses. Talking about missing 100% of the shots that you don't take. Me in my life, there are a lot of chances that I didn't take, whether it be in sports, whether it be running for like class ASB or like stuff like that. And I made excuses like, oh, I don't want to do it because this, or I don't want to do it because of that. Oh, I'm not really into that. But more or less, it was most likely because I was lazy as hell. And that's a lot of people's excuses, especially when it comes to, we're going to get into a serious note right here, especially into like weight loss. A lot of people aren't motivated because maybe in the past they have tried numerous amounts of things, but it didn't work. Or maybe they were trying to get this job, but they went about it the wrong way. So they just stayed jobless. And then when their buddies or their girlfriends or whatever, hey, why don't you have a job? Like, why aren't you working? Like, is everything all right? Oh, yeah, like just making excuses. But in reality, it's because they had a bad experience for some god-awful reason. Going back into the weight loss portion of stuff, me, like a lot of people know, like a lot of my followers, a lot of like my family know, like I was really big, I was really heavy, but there was a certain motivation that was there that got me to where I needed to be. And not a lot of people are motivated enough. Like maybe they're upset at how they look. They're not loving life how they should, because you know what? Like in my eyes, life is a blessing. Like every single day is a blessing. Like you wake up, you're blessed because you're able to live another day on earth. But a lot of people, take it to heart like, hey, I hate my life. I hate the way I look. I hate this. I hate that. And they end up possibly committing suicide. And that right there, that's where it goes too far. Like suicide is a very touchy subject for a lot of people. I've known a couple of people like distantly that have committed suicide, and it's sad because you think like, oh man, like I thought they were okay. I thought everything was like in their life was okay, but you never know what somebody is truly going through deep down inside their mental. Like somebody could be going through this toughest battle that you have no freaking idea that they're going through, and it's rough. Because when I was heavy, like I'm not saying I thought about that, but when I was heavy, like I hated myself. Like I looked at myself and I was disgusted, like honestly, like because I knew I could be somewhere better. Like I knew I could look completely different than what I looked like at that point in time. And my girlfriend, thank God for her, because she snapped me out of that mental. Like she told me, she looked me right in my eyes. She was like, if you want it, go for it. Like if you want to lose this weight, you need to do the right things. You need to eat right. You can't just go in half-assed, because a lot of people, when they try and lose weight, they go in half-assed. Like, oh, well, I'm going to work out 2 days a week, for the rest of the time that I'm going to be working out. Like, yeah, at the beginning, like, hey, 2 days a week is cool, but at some point in that, your workout duration or your workout cycle, you have to up that. You have to go to 3 days a week. You have to go to 4 days a week. Hell, even 5 days a week, skip a day in between. But a lot of people don't do that, and then that's when they get discouraged because they don't see results. They don't see the results that they want to see. Like, oh man, I've been working out for 3 months and I've only lost like 2 pounds. Are you eating right? Are you drinking enough water? Are you keeping hydrated? Because hydration is key. Like, you need to stay hydrated, because if you're not going to drink water, you're either going to pass out, you're going to dehydrate the hell out of yourself, and you're not going to lose any of that water weight that you're putting on, because water weight is a lot of weight that our bodies hold. Water weight is a big factor. So, in other words, you have to keep progressing. You can't just stay on a line. You have to constantly be moving up with your workout routine. Okay, how do you expect to gain muscle if you're just going to be lifting 2-pound dumbbells? It's not going to happen. How are you going to run a quicker mile if you don't push yourself to run faster? How are you going to be able to bench press that your next, PR if you're not going to keep adding weight? Like, you guys catch my drift? It's a lot of progression, and like I said, that's where people get discouraged because they don't see any results. Making excuses, if you want something, you need to go for it. You can't expect things to be handed to you. And I think in the Marine Corps, like out in civilian life, I knew that. Like you knew that, right?
Yeah.
I knew that. Like, hey, you have to work for what you want. Like that was set in my head when I was a kid. Like, my grandparents had me out working in the yard, like on Saturdays at 8 o'clock in the morning. Like, hey, go mow the lawn, go pull weeds, go do this, go pick up trash, around the house. And yeah, they'd reward me here and there, candy, whatever. Like, oh, hey, let's go out and, have a treat. Let's go out and eat or something. And I've noticed a lot of people, the way people raise their kids now, it's completely different from the way when I was raised. Like, I'm not saying my roommate's completely different. Like, I'm not saying my roommate's a complete slob. Like, my roommate, how old are you?
19.
He's 19. I'm 23. So there's 4 years difference? We're basically the same. I don't know how he grew up. I don't know, what situation he was in. But I grew up with my grandparents. My mom and dad, at a young age, they moved out of town from where we lived. They moved, 2 towns over. And I wanted to stay going to the same elementary school that I was going to. And my grandma basically gave my mom and dad, hey, the kids can stay here. They could keep going to the school that they're going to. And then, you guys can see them, during the week, during the weekend, go out with them, stuff like that. So we stayed with our grandparents, and that's where my work ethic basically got instilled. Seeing my dad work in the fields like that, seeing him come home, tired as heck, he would look at me and he would tell me, I don't want this life for you. I want you to be something better. I want you to do something, big with your life. And my grandpa, seeing him, work around the house, do the stuff that he was doing at the age that he was and that he is, it really motivated me when I was a kid to be better. And going back onto nothing is handed to you, the Marine Corps really instills in you nothing is handed to you. Nothing at all. You have to work for what you want. Promotions. Everything is a competition. Everything is a race. You have to be bloodthirsty. You have to want it. Because if not, you're not going to get to where you want. And I feel my work ethic coming into the Marine Corps, it helped me a lot with what I'm doing right now. Because the work that we're doing right now, for my MOS, we're working with pretty big, heavy equipment. We're working with, next week we're going to be on trams. This next week we're going to be on trams. We were with MMVs, and before that we were with 5Ks. The 5K is a pretty small vehicle. The tram is
bigger than that one vehicle.
Huge compared to the 5K. And you look at these vehicles and you automatically get intimidated.
So to put it into perspective, the 5K weighs about 13,500 pounds, whereas the MMV weighs 28,330 pounds. The tram is going to weigh heavier than that, so it just gets heavier from there.
You get a rough estimate. Thank you, Radke. Back to you, Rodriguez. You get a rough estimate of what you're working with when you see it, because these vehicles are freaking huge, and you automatically get intimidated. And one thing that was put into my mind is you have to be confident in what you do. Because if you're not going to be confident, these vehicles are going to be driving you. You're not going to be driving them.
Same thing with the M240 Bravo.
M240 Bravo, my goodness. Back at MCT, okay, so the M240 Bravo, for those of you that don't know, is a machine gun.
Medium machine gun.
It's a what?
Medium machine
It's a medium machine gun. This thing shoots what? 7.65?
Yep,
7.6 what?
7.62.
7.62 rounds. They're about that big. Yeah, about that big. The M16A4 shoots a 5.56, which is literally about that. I remember one instance when we were in MCT during this field exercise that we were doing. I don't think it was the Finex. Was it the Finex? I don't know.
Probably right before.
Yeah, I think it was right before, because we were in the defense, like we were digging, fighting positions, all that fun stuff. And we had an M240 Bravo, and my one of my combat instructors, he told me, Rodriguez, get ready, like, make sure the M240 is, up and running for, okay, cool. So I look at it, do a functions check, do all that good stuff. I load it. It's cherry. I don't have ear pro in. Okay? I do not have ear pro in. Next thing you know, I hear my combat instructor yell, "Contact front, enemy in the open." And I'm like, holy hell. Okay. So I cock that thing back, I send it forward, and I just start shooting. For the next 5 minutes, I swear the only thing that I was hearing was a ee. Thing was louder than hell. It had a pretty good kick.
And that was with blanks.
And that was with blanks. It was with blanks. We were shooting with blanks at that time. The first thing that they told us, that one of our sergeants had told us, Sergeant Kopesky, if you are not confident with this piece of weapon, this weapon is going to make you its bitch. Holy hell. I seen other people handle this weapon. They were not confident at all, and that weapon made them its bitch. And it was funny as hell. Going back to these vehicles, going back to anything in life, you have to be confident in what you're doing. Because if not, life is going to beat you down.
And make you its bitch. You want to get that job? You got to take that job head on. You research that job. You research what you're going to be doing. You do everything that is going to propel you into you getting that job. You want to lose weight? Hell, you got to start eating right. You got to cut the soda. You got to cut mostly all the bread. You got to stop eating fast food. You can't eat fat and expect to lose your weight. And that's one thing that I learned, because I was eating fat and I was working out. I was losing weight, but I was gaining muscle, but I was still like a little chubby. Once I stopped eating fast food, once I stopped drinking soda, once I started drinking all water and like no sweet juices, nothing like that, that's when all my weight went out the window. You have to be confident in what you do. No ifs, ands, or buts. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you're going to miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And motivation is one of the big ones. you need motivation. Something has to motivate you. No matter what it is. A little brother, your mom, your dad, your grandpa, your Marine to your left and your right. You have to be motivated. What was that one line from that movie, Rocky? Fucking, it doesn't matter how hard you are or how hard you think you are. It doesn't matter how hard of a punch you think you can take or whatever. Because life is going to beat you down. And if it's going to beat you down and it's going to keep you there no matter how hard you think you are. And it's not about how hard of a hit you can take. Wait, what? God damn it. I forgot that movie line. It doesn't matter how hard you hit. It's about how hard of a hit you can take and keep moving. And I've been hit with a lot. I've been hit with a lot. For those of you that don't know, my mom passed away right before I went to boot camp. A little, letting you into my life. My mom passed away right before I went to boot camp. I was supposed to be Bravo Company. I was supposed to ship out February 4th to MEPS. My mom passed away February 3rd, 2018. That right there was a roadblock. Mental block. Emotional block. I broke down so hard, like every single day I was crying. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy, to lose their mom. And they say you never really know what it's like to lose somebody until you lose your mom. And it is the truth. Because I remember at one point, after my mom had passed away, like 2 days after my mom passed away, I was reconsidering pulling my contract. I was thinking about quitting. I was thinking in my head, I can't do this. I can't. My girlfriend looked me straight in my eye. And she said, it doesn't matter. She basically summed it up. She basically said, it doesn't matter if your mom's here. It doesn't matter if she's gone. Because you know deep down inside that she would want you to push through with this. As soon as she said that, that got me out of that mental. And I used my mom. I used my family as motivation. I used that as a tool to get through boot camp. Yeah, there were times in boot camp where I was like, fuck. Mom. But then I thought about those words that my girlfriend told me. That helped me out a lot in boot camp. What my girlfriend had told me. And when I was on top of that Reaper, because I'm West Coast, West Coast, what's happening? When I was on top of that Reaper, I looked up at that red, white, and blue, that Marine Corps flag. And I felt her with me. I bawled my eyes out like there was no tomorrow. Because I knew she was right there with me in that moment. So to end, find your motivation. Stop making excuses. Make it happen. Because it's going to happen one way or another. But it's up to you to make it happen. Nobody else is gonna make it happen for you. You have to be the one to make it happen. You have to go work out. You have to go get that job. I have to get that next promotion. That's what it's about, guys. Peace out.